The DC Fandome virtual event happened over the weekend, and with it followed a slew of trailers that made me shriek in excitement. So stick around as I break down my favorite one among the lot. Hey everyone, welcome to Care Fiction. I'm your host Subhankar, and join me as I break down the latest trailer for Wonder Woman 1984. I will also refer back to the first trailer during the video and share some theories from my side. So without further ado, let's begin. The trailer starts with scenes from Themyscira, where an Amazonian event is going on, kind of like the Olympics, and we see a young Diana. This is intercut with her running through the streets, what looks like it protests to me. I can read from this frame as this is wrong. This could be towards the end or near the end of the movie, where people are protesting maybe against the government, as they could be responsible for something disastrous. I could be very wrong here. Then she hurls the lasso of truth to something in the air, and then she just flies away. I'm gonna bet that this is the Invisible Jet here. It has to be. First appearing in Sensation Comics number 1 in 1942, there have been a few origin stories behind the enigmatic plane, but the prevalent one is that the invisible plane was a modified US aircraft piloted by Steve Trevor and repaired and made invisible by Amazon Science after Steve accidentally crashed down on Paradise Island. We did see this happen in the first Wonder Woman movie. So maybe that's how it is. So maybe that's how it is going to be in the movie if the invisible jet exists. Then she swings across balls of lightning. I don't know what's even happening here. Is it Zeus? Then we jump into a massive broadcasting tower, followed by Maxwell Lord, played by Pedro Pascal, communicating from the White House. Did he become the president? You see, there have been some speculation regarding the possible appearance of Brother Eye. Brother Eye is an all-seeing artificial intelligence orbiting the Earth, originally created by Bruce Wayne to spy on other heroes. Just Bruce Wayne stuff. But instead of that, maybe it's being created by Lord in this universe. It kind of makes sense because in the comics, he hacked into the satellite system to use it to weed out all the metahumans. So maybe his hatred for metahumans could be a motive in this movie. Then we go into Kristen Wiig's character, Barbara Minerva. Then cut to Diana, who is shocked to see Steve Trevor back alive. In the trailer, this takes place over Lord's voiceover. Presumably, he gained some wish-granting powers of sorts. Steve's resurrection doesn't make much sense to me. He may have survived in the blast in the previous movie, somehow. Then we move on to what seems like a gala event with both Diana and Barbara being present. Then a shot of Barbara running, maybe chasing someone or being chased. She mentions her wish to be an apex predator. Then she expresses her envy over someone. Diana maybe? She is an archaeologist, and Diana also shows interest in the field. In the comics, they are depicted as good friends, but later, Barbara turned against her, growing jealous of her powers. The same could be the case in the movie. And also, there is a lab dedicated to archaeological research where Barbara works. Then Diana or Wonder Woman fighting guards inside the White House, which definitely has to do with Maxwell Lord. Enter Barbara, donning a cheetah-like spotted attire, taking on Wonder Woman and completely slicing through the force. Clearly at this point, she had gained some powers. Then we get this sequence involving military vehicles, which I believe takes place in Egypt. Why do I say it is Egypt? Well, that's because in IMDb cast and credits page, I found this. So, seems Egypt to me. And also in the comics, Egypt is also home to the Amazons of Bana Migdal. The Amazons of Bana Migdal are a splinter group which broke from the Amazons of Themyscira over 3000 years ago. And get this, they had an encounter with the Cheetah, who had stolen Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. Of course, in the movie, her lasso is still with her, as can be seen from this scene, so she is there for some other reason. Egypt could also serve as the origin for Cheetah's powers, unlike the comics. In the comics, Barbara Minerva gets her powers from a plant god in Africa called Urs Katarka. Comics can be really weird sometimes. Then we see Barbara throwing someone against a van. Maxwell Lord? I cannot be sure about that, but she definitely has some enhanced strength. Then in a plane, we see Barbara and Maxwell Lord together, obviously in cahoots, probably scheming against Wonder Woman. Do you guys remember this scene from the first trailer where we see an artifact being held by Maxwell Lord? Well, in the comics, there is a relic object called a Chaos Crystal, presumably designed by Darkseid, although its origins are still uncertain. But most importantly, this crystal grants wishes, giving whomever its surface reflects whatever their hearts desire if provided enough energy. But it could only be wielded by powerful beings like the new gods. But eventually the crystal broke into shards, which had same powers but a bit diminished, but could be wielded by certain other people. Maybe Maxwell Lord comes to the possession of this chaos shard and that could explain his powers. Back to the White House fight, Barbara can go against the lasso of truth. That is a big thing. That lasso is surely powerful. So if her origin story is true as per my theory, then it would have been a very powerful artifact belonging to the gods from Egypt. Because Egypt is a hotspot for archaeologists and they are always looking for such artifacts. Then we had the biggest reveal of all, a fully transformed Barbara into Cheetah, which also apparently surprises Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is wearing the Golden Eagle armor or the gold armor, and the location looks like that island with the massive broadcasting tower from the before. Could it be near the end scene? Also, it makes you wonder the fact that this armor is used by Diana in the comics when she faces a very powerful foe. And also in the comics, this armor was made by Pallas, an Amazonian artisan. Also, I am racking my brain as to what the D112 means. I mean, it is so there. It has to be some reference. So if you got any ideas, do let me know. So that is all about the trailer breakdown. But apart from that, I want to show you something more. This movie could also take place in Russia or may have some Russian involvement. Because one, it was the Cold War period. And second, take a look at this IMDb credits page. A Russian general in the credits and the mention of Red Square. That's interesting. What's more interesting is that I found these credits. So there may be someone called Rex in the movie. And one DC character that comes to mind is Rex Mason, who is none other than Metamorpho or the Element Man in the comics. And guess what? He is an adventurer who was hired to go to Egypt in search of an artifact called the Orb of Ra. So that is about it. Let me know in the comments if I have missed something. I don't know about you, but I am waiting for that Wonder Woman vs Cheetah beatdown. And again, comment your thoughts about the trailer and I will be back again bringing the breakdown of the other trailers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do make sure to subscribe now. See you soon.